Ollie, how should I niche? Who should I target? Who should my client avatar be? Is probably the most commonly asked question that I get. So it makes sense for me to make a really quick video breaking this down in the most simple way that I possibly can, because I think this topic is grossly overcomplicated by coaches, by gurus, some of the videos that I've seen online. So I'm going to show you how to make this unbelievably simple, because I think there are only really four simple considerations that you need to make. And I'm going to show you each of these considerations, but then also within that, based on where you are in your entrepreneurial journey, where you are in your coaching career, which makes sense for you to place most of your focus and attention on. So let's chunk this down. I'm just going to draw a little kind of crosshatch here. So we've got four sections. And in the first section, I'm going to write who you were. Who you were. This is perfect and ideal for new coaches. Okay, if you are new to the game, your perfect client, the person that you should be marketing yourself to, is who you were 5 years ago, 10 years ago, before you found a solution for the problems that you now help solve. Because most of us are delivering coaching in an area that we have expertise, we have experience in. So like when I got into online coaching, I was just an in-shape dude. I had cracked the code with tracking my macros, watching my nutrition, training really hard with good structure and, good programming. And I was in mega shape. I was in awesome shape. And so it made sense that I helped people who didn't have their nutrition nailed down, who didn't know how to train effectively. I helped those guys and girls to achieve similar results as me. So I was basically coaching who I was 5 years ago at the start of my fitness journey. And that's basically what I'm doing now as well in this new business, is I'm helping people who are where I was 10 years ago, getting into online coaching, starting to build a personal brand, starting to market themselves, starting to make money online, who want to scale that. So that is the first one to think about. Now, the second one to think about, and this is slightly different but similar, is who you've helped. If you've got experience working with people, they don't necessarily meet the criteria of, it's who you was a few years ago. You've been there authentically yourself, but you've actually worked with people in real world scenarios and you've helped them go from point A to point B, and you've got experience and knowledge in that area. Just market yourself to those people. And the beauty of this approach is that you're probably, if you've helped people in that area before, you've got some social proof, you've got some testimonials, you've got some case studies that are going to help you to magnetically draw people to want to work with you, because people want to work with someone when they feel like they know they're going to get a result. That is really important for people before making a purchasing decision. So who you've helped is the next clear, obvious option. Now, this isn't necessarily a separate type of person, but it's a consideration that you should absolutely make. And it often comes with a little bit of friction, because we all like to believe that we're not in this for the money. We're in this to help people. We're in this to add value to people. And I 100% agree with that. And I believe that myself. But if you don't get paid, then you can't help people, unless you are from money, you've got more than enough wealth that you can sustain yourself for the foreseeable future without making money from a profitable business, then you need to be mindful of actually getting paid and making this work financially. So make sure when you are choosing your niche or your client avatar that they can pay. It seems obvious, right? But I've heard examples of people who want to work with students, who want to work with uni students. I understand their challenges and all of this different stuff. It's like, no, dude, uni students don't have, generally speaking, a huge amount of disposable income. So it makes no sense to market to those people specifically. Okay. Just make sure that when you are deciding upon your niche, who you're going to work with, that they can pay you. Okay. So seems obvious, but worth mentioning. And then the final thing is do you like them? Or do you like solving those problems? So let me give you another classic example here. I had a conversation with a coach that I was working with a few years ago, and he was kind of, I guess, at the brink of burnout, really not enjoying what he was doing day to day, questioning himself, struggling to put out content marketing because he actually didn't want to take on clients. He was just in this place where he was like, yeah, I feel like I'm done with this. So we spoke, we went layers deeper, and we spoke about his day-to-day operations, how he was working with clients, the conversations that he was having. And I just got this feeling as he was speaking. I was like, you don't actually like working with these people through these problems, do you? And he's like, no, Ollie, dude, I really don't. And I was like, dude, what are you doing? You have to make sure that when you decide who you're going to serve, that you actually like working with that type of person. If the idea of coaching parents who don't have the time to get to the gym consistently because they're looking after the kids and they're juggling work, etc., if you don't want to motivate those people, this is just an example, right? If that doesn't scream, fuck yeah, I want to do that to you, then don't do it. And again, this is it seems when I say this out loud, blatantly obvious, but you will be so unbelievably surprised how many clients that I've worked with who end up building their business and their client avatar around ultimately people that they don't enjoy serving. So those are your 4 options: who you were 5 or 10 years ago before you cracked the code, who you've actually helped, can they pay you, and do you like working with them? Those are the only 4 considerations that you need to make when deciding upon your niche. Hopefully this video has been useful, and I will see you on the next one.